Okay, so apologies for the delay, folks. And it looks like we may have had some people dropping by. Olina Golovska, hey, back to you. We've got Olina Golovska again, said hi, back to you. Nice to see you too. Hey, said hi. So that's a lot of highs. And thanks, Olina. That's a very nice way to kick things off. I'm going to, as usual, with this, I'm going to be drawing. Some of you may be dipping in. You may be watching this and going, oh, that's interesting, that's good, all right, and then flip on to something else. That's absolutely fine. If you're going to do that, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe so you can see this video later. I'll be uploading it again so you can see it in its entirety. Because sometimes people just don't have the time. They go on the YouTube and have a look and think, that's interesting, and then go on to something else. And that's just, I do that. I do exactly that. So it's just sometimes, and you think, oh, what I'll do is I'll catch it later. So anyway, I'm going to be doing a bit of drawing and possibly a little bit of inking as well. Will I get around to doing some watercolouring? I don't know. Just as a quick recap, I'll just turn this music down a little bit. For those who are here for yesterday's stream, I did this little, well, he's actually this little character here. Let me just bring it up to the screen so you can see it. This is just, whoa, all the pencils and all the bits and bobs falling down. There we go. So, yeah, that was what I did yesterday. I think it turned out rather well. This kind of interdimensional Dickensian creature. These are the kind of ghoulish, interdimensional creatures. It's a theme that I've been running for the last few days now. It's basically an alternate universe set in the Dickensian era. It all really stemmed from this. I did this drawing of this character here. He looks slightly malevolent. Check out his talons. There's his hands. Yeah, so he doesn't look entirely good, but I was really pleased how it turned out. And then I started sketching this kind of steampunk type character, and I thought, you know what? There'll be a really nice idea in here about interdimensional invasions set in the Dickensian era. So it's a continuation of that. I'm going to be talking, of course. I'm just going to zoom in a little bit on here. Let's have a look. Just check again. Leo Wells. Hello, Leo. Leo Wells again said hi, Leo. And Harley, of course I remember you. Of course, you had some lovely comments last time. You are most welcome back, Harley. Some lovely comments from Harley the other day about drawing, and also some good questions as well. So welcome back. Welcome back to anyone who's watching this early, whether you're watching this now or watching it later. We're probably going to spend about an hour basically me drawing and chatting. Part of this is me drawing, but also opening up to questions. So if you want to, you know, if you got something you want to sort of talk about, drawing wise, I tend to get a lot of questions about anything from what games are like to what films are like. And oddly enough, like, oh, how old are you? I was a child of the 70s, let's put it that way, 70s and the 80s. So I guess I might be ancient by your standards, but yeah. And I teach games art, at Coventry University. And this is a little kind of side quest that I'm doing with the drawing. So that's me. That's generally what's going on. And I'm going to do a bit of drawing. If you want to ask some questions, feel free. And away we go. So I'm doing this character here, this drawing. And this is, so they've got these goggles in the story that I'm sort of just formulating. And in this story, he's seen one of these beings coming through the wall. So that's what I'm going to be doing here. They're coming through the wall, and he's there with his gun, and he's got his goggles, which allow him to kind of see the thing coming through. So that's what's going on here. So I'm just really at the moment just sketching this in. And like I say, it's such a juicy area anyway, things like the Dickensian periods, that it's just very enjoyable. So a very rich, very rich subject visually to do. So there we are. So I'm just going to continue drawing with this. And if any questions pop up, then I'll be happy to answer them. You might occasionally hear Fizz, my little dog. I think she thinks she's heard something outside, so she can have a tendency to, hopefully she's not going to stop barking, but she might make some noises in case you're wondering what's going on in the background. So I'll just have a bit more music, there we go. And the idea I had, it's almost like a bit of a sort of Thanos type glove. This is like some kind of like Nikola Tesla type invention. It's a glove come kind of device. So there's a gun that's going to kind of, sorry, there's this kind of arm unit here, which is going to plug into, let's move this over a little bit, that is going to have a sort of, not necessarily a gun, it's more of a sort of a device which is kind of beaming at this thing that's kind of coming through. This is the idea I've got anyway, so we shall see how it goes. Again, I'm just kind of not sure where this is going at the moment. I know I want this kind of gun, this gun device thing with the arm. So I'm just visually, I'm just trying to kind of work it out, how I'm going to do it. when I start inking this, I might start defining some areas, kind of legitimizing it a little bit more. At the moment, when you kind of get into doing like penciling, it can be a bit vague, whereas when you kind of commit to ink, it's like, there it is, it's done. And that's the route that you're going to go down. So I'm just working my way around, just thinking how this is going to go. I'm going to have this kind of like pipe coming out here into the main. I guess you could say it's almost like a Pip Boy, like from Fallout, but it's not really a Pip Boy because this is set in the Victorian era, so it's going to be something that's going to have maybe some chemicals in there, something that reacts, but also it's going into the alchemical, so it's also dealing with strange technologies, maybe even going into, like I say, more into the ethereal as well. So this idea that it's been thrust upon Victorian society, this new, part of the Industrial Revolution, but it's kind of taken like a sort of different turn, and a lot of this new technology has been sort of thrust upon them, and a lot of it is almost like kind of magic, a bit like technology today, right? So a lot of the stuff, I'm of a certain age where a lot of the stuff we're seeing now, things like iPads and oh goodness, even AI and things like that, that would have looked like some kind of strange magic. And I'm not that old, but like it would have been so far out there. So this is kind of like, who was that? I think it was a saying from Carl Sagan. What was it? It was something worse to the effect of, magic is just basically technology that hasn't been explained yet, or something like that. Anyway. So I'm just working out these creases. It's got this big kind of coat thing going on. And then we've got this thing here. Now, I'm not sure if I'll have room to kind of put the creature's face, per se, kind of coming in. Maybe with something like, it's kind of like, maybe have it kind of coming in. It's the idea I had was this thing, although we're limited in our space. Let me just zoom out a little bit just so you can see. The idea is that, this thing is coming out of the wall. Well, of course, we're limited in like the space that we've got on the sketch pad. So let's just see what it brings up, see what we can do. I think we could potentially have something like, could have tentacles or a hand maybe, I don't know. We're going into kind of like slight kind of Cthulhu territory here, but something like that. But the idea is it's breaking through this. It's almost like someone's living room, or it could be his study, and it's cracking through into our dimension. So we'll just see where it goes, eh? Could give him multiple eyes like a spider. How about something like that? I wanted it to be a little bit scary. It looks a little bit too cute at the moment. I mean, the focus is going to be mainly with this character. Could have a hand coming in here, maybe, or some kind of inhuman hand. It's coming in like it's about to try and sort of devour the man. Something like that, maybe. About that. Maybe instead of a tentacle it could be, so this is like up close and personal, this thing just emerging into our reality, or into their reality. Anyway, I can play around with that hand. And then I'm going to maybe have a hand or the thumb. So maybe as it's emerging, it's all, he's sort of dematerializing it. I think that's the general idea. So now, as I'm going to say again, if you are or have been enjoying the content, be sure to like, comment and subscribe if you want to see more of this content. It seems to be, from what I was looking online, and since I've been doing these little live streams, because you know the analytics on YouTube, and I do lots of videos like with Blender and things like that, but it appears that people are really loving the drawing, so it's like, oh, interesting. So I'm going to be continuing exploring this vein. I may even start to introduce a little bit of 3D. I've had some ideas about doing a drawing and then also working in, like taking the drawing as a development and then working in something like Nomad, which is a really cool 3D program. It's quite sort of intuitive, and see if that's interesting to people as well. I'll see, but I quite like the idea of just showing that kind of, because it's like I'm involved in teaching games art. It's like showing a bit of that process, you know, the process of like you know, kind of part of that vertical slice of like, okay, once you've sort of done the designs, this is where you kind of take into 3D and start sculpting, you know, sculpting a model, etc. But see how people feel about it. If you are interested, maybe you can leave a little comment in the comment section below or in the live stream, whatever. But I might indeed try it out just to see what, or we just keep it all drawing, the whole kit and caboodle. I love doing this. I'm happy to continue doing this, but just as a little kind of a branch. Right. Yeah, I don't want this to get too muddy. So I'm just doing a little nose area here. And then a little kind of mouth, strange kind of mouth. I mean, it's an interesting notion, isn't it? You know, anything that comes from another dimension is somehow going to be a threat. I think that's a lifetime of I guess, indoctrination from movies and things like that. We always assume that anything that kind of comes out of the blue from somewhere else is going to be a threat to us, but it may not be. Maybe it's all going to be peace, love, sunshine, and all that, whatever, but who knows? All right, so let's maybe think about, yeah, I don't want to do any more to that. I think going forward, so this is going to be the focus. We've got his kind of jacket area here. That's going to come down here. So this is going to be quite a loose one, I think, for this evening's stream. And he's kind of got this, he's quite portly. He's quite a portly fellow. Imagine like a sort of inventor type. I'm not sure what his other hand's supposed to be doing. Maybe he's got his other hand's kind of coming down here. Maybe something like that. I don't know. Let's have a look. I think his hand's going to be a bit more like that. It's going to be like a bit more. It's going to have a bit. He's not going to be that casual. This thing is kind of coming out the blue. It might be a little bit more alarming. So maybe his hand. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what his hand would be doing. It'd be kind of. Maybe he hasn't had time to react. So it could be that he's maybe his hands are just starting to react. So you're getting this a slight reaction, I don't know. Maybe he's got his other glove on. Something like that, I don't know. And he could potentially have, maybe this thing needs a power pack, so he's kind of got this. So maybe even what we could have is, it's almost like an over the shoulder thing where we've got this power pack. Let me think now. How could we do this? It's got like a kind of, maybe it's something like gauge. It's kind of got this, you'll have seen this with old inventions where they've got like a gauge. It gives like the pressure. Maybe it's something like that. It's like etheric pressure, or like it's reality pressure, or something like that. That could be quite interesting. So there's a little kind of device here. It's like a little over the shoulder. Not sure if we could show the strap. Could maybe firm this up when we do a bit of inking. And something like that. And it's got maybe a pipe that's going into it down there. And this thing, this unit, is, it's like it's got inner workings. So again, it's kind of powered by some form of electricity and plasma and something. And maybe even this could have like, I don't know, like it could be like a readout, it could be something like letters, but it's all mechanized, right? It's like a watch. And maybe there are some dials. Again, I'm just sort of thinking off the top of my head. And We've got his trousers, and this will just kind of fade out. We've got his, you know, his belt maybe, something like that. I don't know, something like that. And okay, I think we're at the stage now I can maybe even start thinking about inking, and that will bring us on to this next stage. So I'm going to have a little slurp of coffee, and we'll get our ink, which is here, which you can't see at the moment, but it's off screen, and dip that in there. And let's start to have a play around. So this is where the rubber hits the road, folks. So I'm going to be, oh, sorry, I missed some of the chats, forgive me. Liberty Prime Online, welcome back, Liberty Prime Online. Hey up our Covo Gamer. I'm reporting in to expand on the lore of the Ghost Hunters of the 1700s. Name pending. Excellent. We've got a co-creator going on here. Give me the lowdown of what I'm looking at. I'm so excited for the new Fable game. Yeah, I've heard some little bits. I've not seen any clips at the moment of Fable, but I wonder if it'll live up to the hype. Who knows? It's always a tricky one, isn't it? When you've had a game that's been incredibly popular. And you're going to say plasmatic spectral data reader. All right, so let me give you the lowdown, because I'm not sure if you were here yesterday. So I'm just going to take a little bit of just a quick detour for Liberty Prime Online before I get stuck in with the inks. Whoa, so this is what I did yesterday. Hopefully the ink doesn't go everywhere. So this was a creature. So the idea is that these interdimensional creatures have come through into London in particular, but it's been going on for a while. It's not a sudden thing, and they've been basically integrating into London life. So wearing the attire, smoking pipes, things like that. But it's still an ongoing thing. This was like another sort of ghoulish type character that I did. I thought it turned out rather well as his hands. Again, who knows what he could be. And then we have this strange Mrs. Miggins type character. She's got like these kind of yellow tentacles coming out of her face. Not the kind of thing to see on a dark night. And the idea is that we're going to expand on this a little bit, because I'm just interested to see where this goes and what we can do with it. And so this time round, what I've done is I've expanded on the idea of there's like a sort of plumbing service for getting rid of these entities. And I've already started sketching some ideas where we can look at, you know, have uniforms where they're basically called out to, I'm not sure if dissolve or suck these things up, kind of Ghostbusters style, but I'm not thinking jokey. It could be like semi-serious. It could be a bit of like black comedy. So it could be like have really scary elements, but also maybe a bit of humor as well. And this is some kind of professor or someone who's come across one of these things that's kind of burst through the wall. That was the idea I had. We're a bit limited with the page. But that is the idea, a plasmatic spectral data reader. See, that sounds like a kind of prop design that I could do as well. I've already had some ideas about that. So that could be for a stream potentially tomorrow. We could maybe have a look at doing like a prop design for something like that. Again, done in inks, and have a go at making more. But anyway, enough of that for now. Good to see you. I'm not sure if you're still here, but thanks for dropping by. And I shall get on and do some inking. So let's just go and zoom in a little bit, just so you can see what I'm doing, if it lets me. Okay, or maybe I'll move this down a bit. There we go. So I can kind of zoom in like so. There we go. Right, away we go. No turning back now, folks. but also, as I said in previous streams, I can't care too much about this. The moment I start to care, it all can go wrong. So I'm just going to sketch, see where it goes. If it doesn't work out, that's fine. That is fine. But I think it will. I think we'll be all right. And again, as usual, I'm going to try not to work into it too much. If I can, I will do a little bit of watercolours with this. But I've made a promise to myself not to ink it too much, because sometimes I have a tendency just to over egg the pudding a little bit. And sometimes less is more. Again, for anyone watching, welcome, welcome. If you're new to this channel, welcome. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. This is part of a theme that I've been working on over the last few days. If you do stick around, or perhaps look at the video later, I will show you some other parts of the sketchbook, which has similar stuff in it, where I'm just exploring anything fantasy, sci-fi, stuff like that. Lots of stuff from imagination. But thanks for stopping by if you've just stopped by. Let's try and figure this bit out. I'm just trying to avoid putting too much cross-hatching in, because I want to be able to take care of a lot of this with some of the watercolours. So I want to try and keep it. I'm saying this actually just to myself, because otherwise I'll just slide into just doing way too much detail, more detail than I want. Again, less is more sometimes with stuff like this. You can easily go massively overboard and like overproduce it. I'm happy with what I've been doing with this so far, but some of it I look at, I think, you could have eased up. It could have eased up a little bit with the cross-hatching. Didn't have to have that much in there, but I do like cross-hatching, so it kind of gets a bit addictive. Anyway. Right. Edward Z8R or Z8R said hi, saying hi back to you, Edward. Thanks for stopping by. Hopefully you enjoy the stream. I will be making it available, so if you can't stop or if you're just passing through, look out on the channel, like, comment and subscribe, and I'll be making the video available. I am also on Instagram now, and I'm posting little kind of videos, like shortened videos of these with some music. So if you're on Instagram, it's just under my name at that stage. It's Jason Etienne Art. Be sure to give us a follow on there. It's very early days at the moment. I think I might have one follower. I've only literally just started it a few days ago, but be sure to pay that a visit. But other than that, welcome. Right. And let's see what's going on here. Again, I have to resist the cross-hatching. As much as possible. Right, so that's all looking not bad. I'm not quite sure what's going on here with his little necktie. I might revisit that. I had a similar thing going on with this one yesterday. I had to kind of paint over it with the necktie, but anyway, for some reason I seem to struggle a little bit. I don't know why. Anyway, let's have a look. Oh, sorry, Chris Britt, 7653. Sorry, I missed your chat. This is so cool. Thank you for the lovely comment. You may have gone, you may still be here, I don't know. But thank you so much. If you're watching this video later, then I'm saying hi now, so thank you very much. That's a very kind comment. Again, lots of really lovely comments, folks. Really appreciate them, and that's what keeps me going and makes me want to produce more. So, absolutely appreciate that. Okay. Too much. I think that's not too bad. I don't mind it in areas doing this cross hatching, but things like if it goes like around the face and stuff, it can just get a little bit overwhelming. But around these areas where it's in a little bit of shading, I don't think that's too bad. All right. Sometimes it's good just to kind of squint your eyes as well. Squint your eyes and just see the actual form. That can be really good sometimes as well. But yeah, I think that's generally, I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. Just a bit like of extra detail with the cross hatching, but not too much. And maybe just a bit up here. Just not so it, excuse me, just so it's not too isolated. Cool. Yeah, I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. Dare I do a little bit around here? There we go. And there we are. Now to the device. Well, this is really up for grabs. I'm kind of thinking, because it's the kind of Victorian era, it's more than likely going to, obviously rivets are a little bit too difficult to do on this, but I think it's going to have something like a little kind of pipe, so like a brass thing with a, I forgot what they're called now, but like a bit of sort of meshed tube that will kind of come down, and maybe some rivets. Rivets. This is like definitely like steampunk territory, but yeah, rivets and pipes. And sometimes even pipes off pipes. I'm not sure if I'm going to be as bold as to do that, but certainly something like that. and it could even be like another bigger pipe. So we've got the little device thing there, that perhaps loops into here, and then that is feeding some kind of ether or some kind of gas to like the main unit, to the main unit. Again, I'm just trying to kind of think how this could work, if this was like a real thing. And again, for Liberty Prime Online, if you're watching this later, maybe hopefully this will give you some more ideas. And see where we go with it. Okay. We'll have that maybe going, it could even be going into just under the hand, into the handle, something like that. And let's have a think now. Okay. Now we're going into doing the gloves. And they're quite chunky. So I think the idea would be that the device, obviously these would be like possibly insulated, protected against the power source that's in this, because it could maybe like melt the hands off or something or other. Something anyway. So you'd need a bit of protection, so there'd be like a functionality to these gloves. And then we've got and maybe something like that. Yeah, it's not looking too bad so far. I was just about to dip my pen in my coffee. That wouldn't have been very cool. Right. Something like that. And then this, so the handle is kind of buried in there, so you don't actually see it. And it doesn't have a trigger, it's not like a gun. But I'm just thinking that I think we did have another pipe, I think that, if I remember correctly. So there's another pipe coming from there, and that's actually going into on the other side of the device. And then that forms part of the device there, this, whatever it is, this etheric. What did you say, Liberty Prime Online? Plasmatic spectral data reader. Well, I guess maybe it fits into that territory, but this is mainly something to get rid of the nuisance. So it would be certainly detrimental, or maybe not detrimental, let's be fair. Maybe it's a case of it's a relocator, so it relocates the interdimensional being back into its realm because of this rupture, or call it what you will, that's occurred. Right, okay. Yeah, this paper is brilliant, but it's quite fibrous, and I think it's got fabric in it, so it makes it brilliant. I mean, it's absolutely gorgeous. To draw on, but you've got to be very delicate with it. And again, just trying to resist the temptation to do too much cross-hatching into it. How we do for time? Still good on time. we've got the little device. So this is what the creatures are perhaps either fed into, or perhaps even this is what alters reality and then sort of pushes them back into their reality. So perhaps it doesn't necessarily kill them, but it's a way of just sort of defending reality, who knows. And we've got these kind of little gauges here, and like perhaps one's measuring, like one's to kind of monitor distortions, the other one's like reality or something or other, I don't know. And I was just thinking maybe this is some form of a device. It looks a bit like a TV screen, but it isn't. It's kind of like square. And I'm going to put this in watercolor. The stuff is kind of etheric, kind of energy or something or other that this is either regulating or whatever. Using or storing or whatever the case may be. And the idea is this thing was somehow going over the shoulder. Something like that. All right, so far so good. Not quite convinced by that hand or that little finger in particular. So I might have a rethink about that. Maybe I'll just bend it under. Anyway, I can maybe have a little bit of a paint of that. So time-wise, it's coming up for 8 o'clock. I'm happy to continue with this. So I'm going to kind of push through and just see if I can get it in some way finished. I'm going to come back to this part as well. Right, so look at this alien. So Okay, so I think that takes it to that stage. Now, I still wasn't happy with that bit of the finger. I might just see if it's possible just to just go over that. I don't think anyone's actually watching at this stage, but for anyone who's watching a little later, excuse the noise a second. Actually, I think we just need to do that again. See how that works. Still not convinced, but anyway. Right, watercolour time. So I'm going to try and keep the colours fairly muted. And maybe we're going to have some browns. For the hair. He's balding, so I'm just going to bring that. Let me just, can I zoom out a little bit? There we go. Get a bigger picture of it then. Right, so maybe even like a slightly darker brown. stay message there. Fracture 10, hey Jason, I hope all is well. Glad to catch another stream. Glad you caught it. Welcome back, Fracture 10. Thank you for watching. Again, I'll be uploading this so you'll be able to watch it all again if you can't watch it all. But certainly glad to have you on board. So we're just going through the watercolouring phase now. And battery's going on my phone. So I'm at about 16%. Let's see how far that takes us before it goes kaput. I think we'll get it done. These bits are quite fiddly, but I'm just gonna go through these bits now with the wash. It's mainly like a wash that I'm wanting to do. Oh dear, Wilfers just wants to go out 1 second. There we go. Right. Now this gun device thing, whatever it is, again, I'm assuming this is all kind of made of brass. better get my skates on. We're at about 14%, so if I suddenly go off, you'll know you'll know why. I don't think I can. I could at a stretch kind of plug it in, but hopefully we can get it in the bag. We'll see. Oops, are we doing energy-wise? Oh, it's getting down to the wire. We're going down to the wire, folks. Let's see if we can make it. Okay, I think we're going to be all right, but it is going to be very, very close. The rest of it hopefully won't be too. But generally, I think this has gone very well as can be expected. Never ends up 100% what you want, but I think generally the illustration's gone quite well, and I'm relatively pleased with it, and hopefully you've enjoyed it as well. I think I'm going to estimate we're going to be something like 5 to 10 minutes before finishing, and then we will wrap up. So I've got a bit of that going on there. Yeah, I think I don't mind that being a little bit unfinished. I'm just looking at, he's got his little device and the rest of his clothes and his gloves. I think we can try and whip through that. So this is going to be sort of brass. Type of affair. And got the handle there. These are going to be brass. With this bit, I'm not made my mind up quite yet. But if I make my mind up quick because I'm running out of battery, what's going to be going on this kind of screen? I'm just going to close the door because it's quite cold. Apologies for the bang. My dog's taken to kind of going out for long periods outside, so it's not too warm here in the UK at the moment. So it could be, that's just giving me an idea actually. What if it was more like this is full of a kind of liquidy gas type thing, whatever. That could possibly work. And the liquid could be not entirely convinced. something, don't know, some kind of liquid. And maybe it's like I say, it's kind of sluicing around. I don't know. This is a bit of a, I might work into this a little bit more. It's a little bit of an afterthought. It's always a bit of a risk when you kind of like, you haven't quite formalized your idea when you're doing stuff like this, but it could almost be like, I tell you what it could be like, and I'm just saying this now for future reference, a bit like a lava lamp. It's kind of like these gloops of like white blobules in this kind of darkness, almost like dark matter or something or other. Again, to be continued. I'm not entirely sure at the moment. I've got something formulated in my mind about it, but as we need to kind of get this wrapped up ASAP, I'm going to cut myself a bit of slack with that. And finally, let's just do the trousers. We've got the jacket, so maybe I'll give him like I always sort of default to these kind of like reddish waistcoats, just to contrast the brown. And then maybe for the trousers, that could almost be like black or charcoal. I don't want it really competing with any of the rest of it. And then we've got this glove, which is going to be pretty much the same as that one. Perhaps with just an added element of just picking up a bit of light. Obviously there's going to be like super like, you know, to spend a bit more time on this, there'd be like a lot more reflection going on. That will be definitely picking up the light from this blast. So you'd have like a highlight going on there, and certainly on the finger or fingers, something like that. There, I think we're home and dry. I could continue working into it, but I think I'm not going to push it because, like I say, we are, you know, I could just keep going and going with this, but I think that's a good place to start. We're down at 6% battery. I think that is okay. I might do a little bit more to it, just do a bit of finessing. I wasn't quite happy with that collar. But generally speaking, I think that's turned out quite well. Let's just do the obligatory signature at the end of there. Let's just put that in there like so. And we'll put 26. And I think that will cover it. Okay, let's just do some close-ups and then we'll wrap up. So some details there. Character's face. The gizmo. We've got the device there. Then we've got the strange entity coming through the wall. But I think that turned out rather well. So anyway, hopefully you enjoyed this stream, folks. If you're watching this later, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you to everyone for tuning in and for the 2 people that are currently tuned in. Thank you for sticking with me. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I probably mentioned that before. Thanks for watching, and I shall see you in the next stream, folks. Take care. Have a lovely rest of the day, evening, afternoon, wherever you are. See you next time. Bye for now. Fracture 10, just to end. Love the look of the steampunk chap. Suitably nefarious looking, Lovecraftian monster. Another good one, mate. Thank you, mate. Thanks again, Jason. Take care. You take care too, mate. And I shall see you in the next one. Take care, everyone. Bye for now.